Okay, we are recording. We are ready to begin. I'm going to share my screen with the agenda.
Okay, well, this is Peter Casarella, and today is March 8th. It's approximately 7:05 p.m. and we are beginning the Douglas Library of Hebron Board of Trustees regular meeting. With me this evening for sure, Beth, Althea, Dale, Sue, Pat, Kevin, Marion. I trust Donna's with us.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
She
I'm
is. Good.
here, Peter. Hi.
Hello, good, thank you. Anyone else out there that I missed? Okay, good. So let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, with liberty and justice for all. Nice flag, Kevin.
Thanks. I'm working on our production values here.
Yeah. Okay, public comment. Is there anyone out there from the public? And if so, do you wish to speak? Okay, hearing no one, let's move on to the secretary's report. I trust everyone has had an opportunity to review last month's minutes. Are there any questions, additions, deletions, changes? Okay, hearing none, I will then entertain a motion to accept the minutes.
I abstained because I wasn't present.
Okay, I still need a motion from somebody, please.
So moved.
I'll
Moved.
second it. This is Sue.
So Beth made the motion, Sue seconded.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none. Kevin, if you would call a roll, please.
Okay, Dale,
I abstain.
Beth,
Aye.
Althea,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
and Peter.
Aye. Okay, thank you. We'll move on to the financial report that's in our package. Does anyone have any questions or concerns that we need to discuss? So you're still, appears we're pretty well still on target, Kevin.
Yeah, we're doing pretty well. Of the funds, the only one that we're running a little bit low on, and it's not that low, it's just we're a little below where we should be on forms and supplies, but we put in a big order with Demco for library supplies. So we've purchased most of what we should need for the next 6 months, so I'm not concerned about that number. I did notice that the heating fuel has a negative balance in it. That's a bill that is normally paid over at Town Hall, but I just, if anybody had a question about it, you can kind of see that the fund isn't overdrawn, but it's encumbered more than is actually in the account. So, I mean, it doesn't seem like they're going to go over that amount for the rest of the year. It's not a bill that I pay, but it looks like that's just an over encumbrance as opposed to an overspending of the account at this point. Yeah, and beyond that, I've begun to pay the bills for the carpeting. So those numbers are still, they're not showing that they're paid yet, but they're showing that they're encumbered. So some of those funds will start to disappear between this month and next month. So the flooring is being paid in 3 bills. So since the first floor still has a little bit more that needs to be done, I'm just paying for the floors that are completed. So we'll probably pay for 2/3 of it over this month. And then once the last portion is done, we'll pay for the rest of it.
Anything else for Kevin and financials? Okay, library directives report.
Okay, so the big news is that we reopened to the public on February 22nd. We've received nothing but effusive feedback from patrons, both on being open and on the way that the building looks, the new carpeting and the rearranged furniture. Staff is very happy to be helping people in person. We're still doing a lot of curbside pickup service. I expect that to continue through at least the summer. And we'll phase it out as people seem to not need it so much. Right now, our curbside pickup is combined with our regular hold service. So once most of the population is inoculated, we'll bring the holds back up to the desk where they were previously and take them out of the lobby. The first floor of the building hasn't been open to the public because some of the rooms needed to be put back together. And it's just study spaces that we weren't encouraging a lot of use of anyway. But I've received a few requests to use those rooms for Zoom calls and just instances where people need to make a little bit of noise. So I've been letting them use them on an individual basis. But the space is now ready to use. And if there isn't any objection from the board, I'd like to just open it up along with the rest of the building. Starting this week. It wouldn't include the community room or the boardroom. It would just be the little landing area and then the 2 study rooms down the hall by the staff room. I'm working with our IT people at Novus Insight to improve the functionality of the public computers.
I have a question on the use of the study rooms before
Sure.
you move on. Are we going to be able to clean it in between uses?
We will clean it the same way we clean any other public space in the building, which is twice a day and then after closing. So I can't guarantee we'd get it in between everybody that uses it, but we would clean it the same as we'd clean any other table that would be in the space. Because we don't clean every spot every time somebody touches it, but we clean all of the touch points twice a day, and then the thorough cleaning when we close.
The computer stations, though, we're cleaning after each use.
The computer stations we are doing after each use, yes.
Okay.
And by following that procedure that you just described, Kevin, will be in compliance with CDC, the local health district, and any regulations town hall has laid out for us?
Yes.
Thank you.
So I'm working with our IT people at Novus to improve the functionality of the public computers. They've been running pretty slowly since we opened the building, and a few have been unable to connect to their virtual desktops. So we've been able to offer the service, but it's not as functional as it really should be. Novus believes that the server hosting the computers may be reaching its end of life, and they are planning on migrating our desktops over to a new server. They thought that was going to happen today, but I haven't seen any evidence of it today. So that should be happening, I would expect, in the next couple of days, because I got an email on Friday saying it would happen today, and it hasn't yet. So that's in the process of happening. We've been able to serve any of the public that needs to use the computers. In a couple of instances, if the public one hasn't been up, we've been able to make sure that they can get what they need, through a desk computer or some other way of helping them get the prints or whatever it is that they're in here for. In less positive news, we're losing one of our relatively recent hires. Christine Cachuela is going to a position at another library. We wish her well in her new job. I'm not planning on hiring anybody immediately. We have enough staff to cover the hours comfortably. And it's just more efficient to hire when we end up needing 2 people instead of 1. So unless we run into an issue where suddenly somebody doesn't want to take as many hours as they're taking, we'll leave it vacant until we need to do 2, if we need to do 2.
Are you
Donna?
having, excuse me.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, go ahead. I'll hold my question.
Okay. Are you having an exit interview with her?
Yes, yep. Her
Okay.
last day is on Thursday. I have an interview planned with her.
Okay. Or do you already know, is there something that she's displeased about, or?
She hasn't given me any indication about that. This new position pays a little bit better. And I think that's the main impetus behind the move.
Okay.
But, you know, I told her that we're going to have the interview, and if there's anything she wants to save until then, to feel free and do that.
Mhm.
But I don't have any indication that
Yeah,
that it's anything like that.
okay, thank you.
Donna, is Andy aware of the turnover in the library?
Yes, he is.
Okay.
Whenever there's a resignation there, Kevin does notify Andy. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll talk about building updates when we get there. Just some other notes. Bibliomation has asked us to test out a new feature that will be available to libraries in the ILS update in April. So that's the new feature is auto renewal. So if this feature is turned on, patrons' items automatically renew when they come due, so long as nobody else has a hold placed on the item. This is being tested in the background. It's not something that's available for our patrons, but it'll probably put us in a good position to turn it on if it's something that we'd like to do. And it's a good feature. It's good for patrons because then they don't have to worry about due dates quite so much. And it's good for us because we end up getting extra circulation credit. Whereas if somebody's overdue for 3 weeks, we just get the 1 circulation credit. This way, it would at least renew, so we got credit for 2. The library's newsletter received a facelift from Peggy Dugan, one of our LTAs. She used our recently acquired subscription to Canva to produce the publication. So that publication is now available on our website, and it's available in print. So we're trying to get that out in a few different venues beyond just the email that we were sending out previously. Gilead School was unable to take the dinosaur fossil earlier in February. The Parks Department has shown interest, and they'll be in touch to arrange for transport. They're supposed to come over tomorrow and take a look at it.
So the historical society then wasn't interested in it?
Well, the Historical Society, it's their stone, and
Right.
they coordinated with with Gilead School, and then when Gilead School decided that they couldn't actually move it, then they passed it. Then the Historical Society contacted Parks.
Okay, thanks.
Our Teen Advisory Board program drew 7 participants when they restarted on the 26th of February, which is great, really good, especially for a virtual program, especially for teens. We have another one on the 19th of March, and then a couple of other video game and trivia programs in the works. So I've got a couple of library assistants doing some programming work on there as well, and they're really excited about it and doing a good job so far. So I'm very happy with that. The Children's Department is still presenting the virtual story times. This year, the summer reading theme is Tales and Tales, and Sherry's in the process of booking programs that can be adapted from in-person to virtual if need be. We're really hoping that we can do in-person programs again this summer, but I'm telling her just to do it both ways in case we can, so we can always backtrack if need be and have an online program. If we can't have the craft room open this summer, then they'll continue to do the take and make craft kits. But if that has to be closed, then we'll keep doing the take and makes, which have been very popular. The children's departments distributed 816 kits to the community. And that doesn't include the kits that were distributed as part of the virtual story times, which, you know, I think around 15 or so of those go every week as well. Plus, we're giving out a lot of adult and teen ones at the same time. So those take and make kits have been very popular. And then just on my annual goals, I booked a program for April 22nd that I'll be running. Well, I'll be coordinating it, not running it. It's a workshop for a lotus flower lantern craft. It's run through Zoom, and it's a Korean Historical Society that presents this, so they can give a little bit of history along with the craft. Sounds like it'll be a good program. And that's it for my report. Does anybody have any questions they'd like to ask we didn't touch on already?
Good, thank you. Do we have anyone out there from the Friends?
Pam couldn't make the meeting tonight because the Friends meeting is at the same time as ours this month, so they're meeting right now.
Oh,
She did tell me, well, no, she just told me she would update me in the future. I do know they're discussing tonight whether they're going to be having an April book sale. We spoke to the health district and I spoke to Andy regarding that. And as long as numbers keep going down, they have permission to have one. They're just making that decision tonight, whether it's something they're going to go forward with.
thank you.
Yeah, and
Donna?
they have a lot of great Easter stuff
Oh.
out. Sorry to cut you off, Donna. They
Oh,
have
that's
a lot
all
of
right.
great Easter stuff out at their store. They do a great job with that.
Okay, just to update on on COVID for, the town is still closed, or the town buildings, are still closed to the public. We are considering, reopening, and it may be, later this month or possibly early in April. We're trying to get, to a point where most of our employees are vaccinated, but we are considering opening soon. On the COVID vaccine, I think you all know now we've moved to the age-based distribution of the vaccine. So we're not able to consider our employees as essential workers and get them done as soon as we had hoped. So right now, everybody's just encouraged to do their own thing and get themselves scheduled as soon as possible. If there are any Hebron vaccination clinics, then we'll, try to assist employees in getting appointments if they meet the criteria. Email, the migration is complete and we are over onto the new system. I hope everybody on the library board was able to set up their email in the new system. If there's anyone who hasn't or needs any help with that, just let me know. And we're going to be working with Kevin on possibly moving the couple full-time staff over to our email. Right now, all the staff at the library, except for Kevin, is on Bibliomation's email server. So it kind of makes sense for everybody to be on the same platform. We're busy working on budget. We're in the midst of our budget meetings and they're all virtually. They're on Tuesday evenings. So if anybody wants to spend some time with the Board of Finance and the Board of Selectmen, just tune in. The agendas are all up on the website and you can just click in a link through there. We do have the CIP requests in for the library for the roof. So I'm expecting at some point they're going to maybe have some discussion around the roof. And we have gotten some more information from that company that did the inspection for us. I think Kevin maybe will report under that, under building updates. And then also we'll report on the closeout of the energy conservation project under building updates. And that's all I have for now. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions, Donna? Okay, Board of Selectmen representative, that would be Gail. Gail isn't with us this evening. Donna, do you know of anything that might affect us from the Board of Selectmen? I talked with Gail today and she didn't mention anything to me.
I can't think of anything. They're busy with budget. So I think that's probably what she would have reported on. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, I guess I'm next. Few things. The board assessment tool that was sent out that we talked about last month, we've only received 2 forms filled out. We really need those forms. They're going to be used for a number of things. One, of course, is the basis to feed into the strategic plan. So please fill those out, get them back to either Kevin or Gail so we can get that in the works. Kevin developed first crack at a strategic plan. So we're working on that before it comes out, before we finalize it. Gail and I are in the process of reviewing it and discussing it with Kevin. And it's come to my attention that individually as board members, some of us are contacting Kevin and asking him to perform some functions and do some work for us. In deference to Kevin and in respect to Kevin, I would appreciate it if you folks, those of you who need something done and think Kevin's the man for it, that's fine. But funnel it through me. And the reason I ask you to funnel it through me is we don't want Kevin to have 9 bosses and one from town hall. The guy will end up with 10 bosses and he won't be as efficient and professional as he needs to be. So please get your requests in, talk to me about it. I'm not saying they won't get done. I'm simply saying it's not right to have 10 bosses. And with that, unless somebody's got questions for me. Oh, and the other thing was Deb Witt. Everyone is aware that Deb has resigned her position on the board. So we'll need to collectively work on finding a replacement for Deb. And that's it for me, unless somebody's got questions. Okay, building updates. Kevin, you provided us with a lot of good stuff.
Althea's talking. I think she's just muted.
Oh, okay.
You're still muted, Althea. Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. Did someone send, or can someone send a letter thanking Deb for the service that she has provided to the board over the years as a member to the board?
Yes, Kevin and I will work on that.
Okay.
Good suggestion.
Okay.
Unless you wanted to work on it, which is fine too, Althea, you know that.
Okay. It's up to you as chairperson.
Well, I know you have much better command of the English language than I do.
Well, I don't mind doing it. That's fine. All right.
Yeah, if you don't mind,
Yeah.
that'd be great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.
And feel,
Kevin, okay, I can just, I'm sorry. I can
No,
just
go ahead.
send her some, a card or a letter thanking her. If Kevin, would it be hard for you to find out how many years that she served, or I can just skip that part if it's too much trouble for you to
I
look
can
at?
take a look. I'm
Okay.
sure I can figure that out. There's got to be records of that.
He's been
Okay.
on since we became a town library.
Okay.
I-
It's been on as long as the board's
I can
existed.
find that very easily because we have those records in the
Oh,
clerk's office. So I can check that in the morning and
okay.
send you an email with the date.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Donna.
All
It's
right.
just in her book, her
Okay.
boards and commissions book. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay. And the other thing, I just, something's nagging at me that maybe Mary Ann forgot the meeting or something. So does anyone mind if I just give her a quick call? I'll mute myself and try to call her to see if she can join the meeting. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. Okay. Thanks.
We're going to continue on though as you're doing that.
Okay. And I just got a message. My battery is low, so I got to go find the plug to plug it in. Okay. All right.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Building updates, Kevin. Thank you for all the detail and the documentation you provided.
Of course, yeah. We're kind of plugging along, as you can see, with these the jobs that we've been working on. HVAC, for the HVAC system, they came through and they fixed the malfunctioning alarm on the rooftop unit. So that job is, I believe, complete, which is great. Seems like it's working well. Carpeting, I've moved down to the So I haven't moved down to the completed projects just yet, have I? No, I guess not. Second and third floor of carpeting are complete. The first floor, there's a back stairwell in that Friends Books area that still needs to be done. That's something that I'm supposed to be meeting with the vendor this week to discuss. And that's just a small thing. It really shouldn't take very much time. And then also the elevator as well. So I'm thinking that should be done this month, which would be nice to check that off the list. I got a couple of quotes back from CertaPro painters for the interior painting. This is something that we're looking at a little bit more down the line, but that's why that's highlighted in yellow. So we'll have some numbers at least to work with when we start really trying to do that work. And then we received a inspection report from BPD Roofing, which is included in your packet. It's kind of a lot of detail. The first couple of pages are probably the most important. They outline 3 different options for how they would suggest approaching the roof repair. And they give kind of an estimated cost for each. And that's something that I suppose if there are any questions about, I don't have them memorized, so I would have to I could read them off the sheet if anybody wanted to, or if
It was a
otherwise.
very thorough report. I thought.
Very thorough, yeah.
I can just add to what Kevin reported there. That report is currently being reviewed by the Public Building Committee, and they are going to make a recommendation on how best to proceed. And we did add an additional $100,000 to the request in the CIP. So that we're hoping what we had originally requested, I think it was 141,000-ish. And so now we're at like, I think 240 some odd for the roof. Is that number, does that number sound right, Kevin?
It sounds right to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're hoping that between what we already have appropriated and this year or next year's CIP requests, there will be enough. So it's still a little bit up in the air exactly which approach we will be taking. But it's not as simple as replacing the shingles. There's repairs and ventilation and other things that need to be taken care of, so we don't have this problem again. And on the, I'll just keep going then. On the HVAC, ESC did come in last week and we had our closeout meeting. So that project is complete. And they gave us the manuals and warranty information and all the specifications, which I have shared a copy with Kevin in the library records. So we should be all set with them for the HVAC and the lighting. They did a great job.
Yeah, they really did. One last quick building thing is just that there's no update on the windows. They're still, being ordered. So there's been no forward movement. I'm just assuming that they're making progress cutting them.
That was going to be my question too, Kevin.
What was it? I
Yeah.
knew it was coming. Yeah, because I think it's like an 8 to 12 week lead time. It's slower than it even was before. So if I don't hear anything back, I'm gonna make sure I check with them before the April meeting. But I didn't think there was any way they'd really be here before now.
Any questions of Donna or Kevin about the building update? Things are moving along. Poet laureate I know MA isn't around, or she isn't on the call. Did she give you any information, Kevin, to report back, or?
She hasn't. She wanted to take a look at some at an old poetry book that I've got to share with her, but I haven't had a chance to because the computers are running slow and that impedes how I can use the scanner. In the newsletter this past month, we put out a call for submissions from local poets. So this is what we discussed at last month's meeting. Hopefully by next month, we'll get some submissions and be able to put something in there. And I will send, if I receive any, they come through to my inbox. They go to a general box that gets routed to me, and I'll forward them on to the people on the poetry committee, which I think is MA, Gail, and Althea, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
No. I just called and she didn't pick up, so I left a message.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, for the budget, we're still on track, Kevin. It's basically a maintained budget.
It's so the it's a maintenance budget plus the addition of the increased janitorial staff. So we had 3 recommended additions to our budget, and the 2, so the Sunday hours were cut out and the LTA pay increase was cut out, but the increase to the from 3 days a week to 5 days a week for janitorial service is kept in this budget, and then everything else is continuation.
Okay, so we don't owe the town anything. We're all up to snuff on
As far as I know.
submissions.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Any budget questions for Kevin? Okay, nominating committee report. Obviously Gail isn't with us, so she can't report to us. I did speak with her today, but she didn't tell me what, if anything else was going on. So I'm kind of at a loss myself. I don't know if anyone else knows anything out there.
No.
Okay, strategic plan update and committee formation. Pat, Gail, and myself on the committee. And as I had said a little bit earlier, Kevin is taking a crack at a strategic plan with an outline of tasks and a timeline. It hasn't been finalized yet, but we are working on it and discussing it. ACLB board assessment tool, please get them in. Kevin, I think you told us about the dinosaur footprint.
Yep.
Any new business anyone has?
This is not new business. I just wanted to go back to strategic plan update, or not up, well, commission or committee formation. Sorry, can't talk tonight. I'm not on that committee, but I wouldn't mind sitting in from time to time if that's okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, so if you just let me know when you're meeting and everything. Okay.
Kevin, let's write on our parking lot list that we send an email out to all the board members with our meeting schedule and how to, whatever they need to do to connect to Zoom to be part of the discussion and certainly listen to what's going on. If you do that for me, please.
Sure. Peter, is that plan something you want to try and bring to the board next month? Just to show them the outline, or is that something we'll just work on?
Yeah, no, it won't hurt to bring it next month. Absolutely.
Okay.
So maybe you, Gail, and I can arrange to meet somehow over Zoom to get that a little more tightened up. Okay.
Can I ask about the dinosaur footprint? Do we know what Parks is going to do with it?
I don't know what Rich is going to do with it. I'm not sure what his plan is.
And was this only reason the school couldn't take it was because they couldn't move it?
That's my understanding. They were all gung ho to take it. Then they came over, took a look at it, said they couldn't move it, and then said they didn't want it anymore.
I think we knew that moving it was going to be an issue. That's why I asked about it at the last meeting. I would love, and I know it's not our footprint, but there's a lot of history with that footprint. And I would hate for it to get lost in the shuffle or not be located somewhere where people will see it or the children will see it or that it gets damaged. If parks can move it, maybe we should consider moving it to the school if they want it.
Okay.
Just a thought.
I can
that's a good
mention that
idea.
to Rich when I talk to him, if you'd like.
I mean, if he has a definite plan for it and it's going to be where people can see it and it's going to be secure, I just would hate for it to be put out somewhere in a park and potentially be damaged or vandalized or stolen or, you know, in the school, in the library, it's secure. So if parks, if he has a plan for it, that's great. But if it's just gonna, if he's gonna move it, maybe we move it to the school. That's all. Thank you.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, we certainly want to make sure that stays safe. Anything else for new business? Okay, strategic plan update. This is the current strategic plan, and safe space, I have nothing new to report from last month. Technology, Donna, anything new from last month?
Nothing new, just work, you know, continue to work on computer replacement and upgrades and the email. That has been that was a big task, so that's it.
I ran into a little hiccup on my email this past weekend, but Kevin was able to straighten it out for me today.
I had learned from Novus this morning that there were issues with Office 365 over the weekend. So
Okay.
you were not
Oh,
alone.
okay. So that makes me feel a little better.
Yeah. Even our tech, our lead tech was having issues, so.
Okay. Well, that makes me feel better. Diversity, Dale and Kevin, anything new to report?
We have a introduction to equity literacy program later this month. That is, I can't think of the date off the top of my head. I think it's a Thursday. I think it's the 25th in the evening. So it's an outside presenter coming in, just teaching people about implicit bias and how to see through that lens. So we've got that coming up this month, and then also the program I mentioned in my report has to do with Korean cultural history. So I think that falls under this banner too.
Good, great. Community, Gail and Deb. We know Deb's not there, and we know Gail's not there. So
That was quick.
that was quick, right? Lifelong learning, Althea, are you out there?
Yeah, I'm here. I spoke with Claire, who's in charge of, in this area. And she told me about the March 24th program. I think Kevin was just speaking about Foundations of Equity and Literacy. That's, I think you said the 25th, but I have down it's the 24th. if that's-
You're right if you got it from Claire. I'm
Yeah,
just looking at my
okay.
calendar, thinking of
Yeah, and people have to sign up for it. It sounds good. I did sign up for it already. There are only a certain number of spots for it. April 16th, she's got a nice program coming called Out of Rushmore Shadow. The grandson of the man who did the carving for Mount Rushmore is going to be speaking. It's a Zoom program. And it's this year is the 80th anniversary of the Rushmore carvings. So that should, I think, be an exciting program.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, since January, she's been able to procure 5 programs, and she's got 3 more in the works. And she's been working with the Connecticut Historical Society to get some of these programs, and they seem to be among the more popular.
They're very good.
Yeah, with the people who've been attending, and they've kind of taken the place of the Friday 1 o'clock movies that that she had before COVID struck us. In December, she had 14 programs. January, there were 15 programs, or no, I think that was attendance, sorry, 14 attended January 15, February 6. But in addition to these, she has craft programs on Tuesdays and also cooking programs. Those are held in the evenings, and those seem to be more for the younger crowd. They're pretty popular. And as I said, the Fridays seem to be more for the older group. And I was so glad to hear that the craft and cooking programs are pretty popular. And as far as the craft programs are concerned, they've run out of materials and they've had to reorder. That's how popular they are. So, and she mentioned the number. I'm gonna guess, I forgot to write it down, maybe something like 300 craft kits or so, and they've run out. I don't know if Kevin, if you know that's.
That sounds about right. We put out it's like a felt succulent kit. So you
Yeah.
cut succulent leaves, and we had something like 75 of those. Middle of last week, we started putting them out, and I think we're down to 8 or something today. So they went really quickly.
Yeah, so that's good to hear. People really are responding and really like what's being offered. So stay tuned to next month's report to what she's doing and how it's working. That's it.
Good. That's a lot. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anything else for the good of the group? Hearing nothing, Dale, I'll entertain a motion to close the meeting.
Oh, I certainly will make a motion to adjourn.
Do
I have to
we
watch
hear?
a basketball game, you know.
Right. Do we hear a second?
I'll second.
Althea seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Bye.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed,
Aye.
abstain. The ayes have it. Thank you very much. Everybody, please stay safe. Dale, can you stick on for a minute, please?
Sure.
Good night, everyone.
Good
Okay.
night.
Good
Bye.
night.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Kevin. So Dale,
Yeah.
prior to the meeting, I said to Louise, Dale really wants to watch the basketball game at 8 o'clock.
Yes.
I think we did it, right? What time is it now?
I had emailed Kevin and I said, I'll be in attendance, but I do hope the meeting is over before 8 o'clock.
It looks like I made it. That's why I kept things moving along.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you and take
Well,
care.
you see my sweatshirt.
Oh, no. Oh, nice. Good. And they certainly are on a roll again,
Right.
which is wonderful. That's great. Okay, you take care and enjoy the game.
Okay, thanks.
See ya. Bye.